It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and our next guest is a survivor. Here to tell us a little bit about her story and how she's embracing life as she survives. We welcome now ERICKA HART, and we thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, glad to have you. And as we talk about Breast Cancer Awareness Month, obviously very close and personal to you, a breast cancer survivor, and talk to us about your diagnosis. You were diagnosed when you were 28?
Yeah, I was diagnosed at 28, May 2014. I was in my second year of my master's program. I was 3 months away from getting married. It was a very inconvenient time, to say the least.
And then this diagnosis comes.
And then this diagnosis comes, yes.
What are your thought processes immediately as soon as you hear breast cancer?
I think the same indoctrinated feelings and thoughts that most people have, sadness, morbid, and things that we're taught about breast cancer. My first question to my breast cancer surgeon was, am I going to die? Which I think is really funny now because we all are gonna die.
Right, right.
His answer to me was no, which I think is hilarious. But just very similar thoughts that most people have that have shifted over time. But in that moment, it was sadness, it was morbidity.
And so you are a survivor, obviously,
Yes.
and you worried. Was there a lot of worry at that time?
There was worry at the time for sure, but I'm also a Black queer girl, so there's lots of things that I experience on a regular basis that they intersect with my life that I'm like, okay, I'm worried about this, but I've had lots of experiences in my life that I've had to overcome. So I think I'm gonna be okay.
So when you talk about this, let's talk about the support and the encouragement, because obviously you had some support, a lot of support and encouragement going through this process. How long was this process, and talk about the encouragement along the way?
I had treatment, my surgery and my treatment lasted over about almost a year and a half. It was May 2014 till December 2015. Actually, the day after my 30th birthday, I finished treatment and everything. I was done, scotch-free, clear scan in January. So the top of this year, it's really been amazing as far as not having to really go to any sort of breast cancer surgeon or oncologist or any sort of treatment center.
So give us a little bit about survivors, because there are people out there who struggle with this every day. Some people have lost people to breast cancer. What's the message that you're sending now? Because you have this carefree personality and you really just go around and, you know, you're a bubble of life in many ways.
Thank you. I think for survivors and anyone that's experiencing with breast cancer is that it's not a death wish or any chronic illness. I think the way that we think about chronic illness and disability in this country is very ableist. It's very like, oh, it's really sad that you have this condition. It's just not fair, because if I didn't have the condition, that doesn't mean necessarily that my life would be better. It just would be different. So it's just looking at these experiences as experiences and not adding a lot of thoughts and opinions to them, because it really puts a lot of pressure on the person and a lot of sadness on the person. So, yeah.
Right. So being a young lady and then the doctor says, okay, mastectomy, but not even mastectomy, double mastectomy. What goes through your mind? Because, you know, as youthful people, a mastectomy at an early age, that hits you.
Yeah. I think, honestly, I think people are surprised by this, but I really wasn't necessarily thinking about the double mastectomy. I was like, okay, so these breasts on my chest have not served me. They need to go. They have cancer in them. What I was more concerned about was chemo. It's like, I don't want my hair to go. So as a Black girl, I was thinking about my hair, even in
The
a
most
moment
important-
of breast
My
cancer.
hair,
I'm like, so
right.
wait, am I going to be bald? Like, am I going to be cute? So those are my thoughts.
And we saw some pictures just a few seconds ago. Tell us about what we saw.
I don't know what
Go
photo
back
you
and-
saw.
Okay, go back and show
What
the
photo
pictures,
did you
please.
see?
Yeah, we're gonna see it. We're gonna go back there. There it is, right there. So,
Okay, so that was at the National Museum of African American History in Washington, D.C. It was the opening, and I went topless, and then Laolu, who painted Beyonce in the I'm Not Sorry video, came and painted me. And while Barack Obama was speaking, he was painting me. Then Barack Obama stopped speaking, and all the thousands of people that were listening to Barack Obama literally turned and were like, whoa, what is happening?
Right.
There's a naked woman over here raising awareness about breast cancer, also that Black Lives Matter. And it was just a really amazing, and then that picture made it to the cover of the Washington Post, which I was completely floored by.
kind of like changed your life a little bit. Huh?
Completely, completely.
How has it changed your life?
It's just I get to get my message out on a really large platform. So just being responsible for that and continuing and staying consistent with it, it's just completely changed my life. And people look up to me. Like, not that they haven't before this, but now it's even more people, strangers I don't even know.
Do you feel compelled now that you have to continue to share this message and get the message out in a greater fashion?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely compelled to do so.
And what do you want people to know?
I want people to know that you're okay. Like, this isn't a death wish, that you still get to live your life beyond breast cancer. Your life doesn't just become consumed by the chronic illness or the disability that you're experiencing. You get to still express yourself through all the intersections that you love.
13, you lost your mom to breast cancer. So walk us through that, because as you're being diagnosed, you know the breast cancer runs in the family. Anything like, okay, mom, now me, mom?
I think about that sometimes, but I honestly think more about my mom as she walks with me, as an ancestor, as someone that really just guides my steps. And she was someone that also didn't have this chronic illness get her down. When I was a young girl, people would say to me, your mom has breast cancer? Because what's perpetuated in the media is bald, sadness, going to doctors all the time. And my mom would run around the neighborhood and like have fun and hang out with neighbors. And people were just like, well, she smiles. I can't believe she has a chronic illness.
Right.
But those two things are not consistent. They don't inform each other. So she's really just a huge inspiration for me, and I just feel like she's with me all the time.
So what's life been like for you since, after, now? You know, I mean, we talked a little bit about, you know, you being on the national stage. I mean, you don't get more national than, you know, the president speaking over here and your body over there, right? It's a little insane.
Yeah. It's wild. Yeah. It's wild. My life has changed very much. Yeah, it's just really busy. It was busy before. I live in New York City. Most people's lives in New York City are busy, and it's busier.
Yeah. What do you have coming around the corner? I mean, some things happening soon?
Well, I'm a sexuality educator, so I speak about sex and sexuality very often. So people are now more reaching out to me like, hey, can you come speak at my school? Can you come speak about breast cancer? Can you come speak about sex and breast cancer? So I'm more opportunities to do that.
It seems as though that you have a way, and you do have this way where it's almost like your presentation makes it a little bit easier for people to understand, and kind of like almost like, you know, disengage or, you know, keep people away from the stereotypes and this, that, and the third. Do you find that that's just a heavy lift for a lot of people, that you have to break through these stereotypes and these?
Absolutely. Even when people see my photos, they'll say like, oh, it's so sad that she was 28 and diagnosed. And I'm like, well, you just put that on me because I'm not sad.
Right.
So a lot of it is dismantling people's thoughts and views about my chronic illness.
So for people who want to follow you, check you out, see what's going on, what do they do?
So they can follow me on all of my social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. It's ERICKA, HART, ERICKA. And they can follow me there and reach out to me. I usually always respond. My email is up there as well, so you can email me.
There it is.
So yeah.
All right, well, we want to thank you for coming and sharing.
Thank you so much for having me.
Bearing your story, and congratulations on, you know, the work that you're doing. And of course, we got to bring you back and you come back and share
I would
with us.
love that.
Okay?
Thank you so much.
ERICKA HART with us. All right. We want you to stay with us. Guess what? We got more show. Don't leave. We're coming right back.